Don't worry about where you stepped. There's nobody buried here. This is a memorial only.
Good morning, folks. My name is Dwayne Rockstone. I am the Vice President of the NABSTMC El Paso chapter. With me here today is my chapter president, Sag Nancy, our treasurer, Covenant, our Son at Arms, Nightwing, Rainbow, and Moreno.
And me, nobody. Red Morgan, nobody.
In early 2009, with the support and charitable contributions from members of the National Association of Buffalo Soldiers and Troopers Motorcycle Club, the County of El Paso, local businesses, along with the El Paso community, the El Paso chapter of the NABSTMC established the soldiers who fought and died here in the El Paso area, known as the Buffalo Soldiers. The headstones you're looking at are dedicated to the memory of the 42 Buffalo soldiers that were laid to rest here in Concordia Cemetery. The bricks mounted on the wall that encloses this memorial were donated by NABSTMC members worldwide, along with donors who wish to memorialize their loved ones and organizations. On November 11, 2009, this memorial was dedicated in the El Paso chapter, who are the caretakers of the memorial, are currently working to have the memorial recognized as an historical site. To date, the memorial has been visited by many local and visiting travelers. The history of the Buffalo Soldiers began in 1866. At the end of the Civil War, Congress authorized 6 regiments of black soldiers to be brought into the Army. Those units were, let me back up. As an experiment, Congress brought these units on board, and they were all segregated black troops. These units consisted of the 9th Cavalry, formed in New Orleans, Louisiana, September 21st, 1866, commanded by then Colonel Edward Hatch. The unit adopted this motto, "We can, we will." This reflects their dedication, bravery, and fighting spirit during the Indian Wars and subsequent conflicts. The 10th Cavalry at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, September 21st, 1866, commanded by Colonel Benjamin Grierson. Their motto was, "Ready, forward." The significance of this was the unit's readiness for combat and commitment to moving forward for duty. The other 4 units, comprised of the 38th, 39th, the 40th, and the 41st Infantry Regiments, completed the 6 regiments. In 1868, because of reductions in military appropriations, the Army reduced the number of black troops from 6 regiments to 4. The 38th and the 41st Infantry were combined to form the 24th Infantry Regiment. The 39th and 40th Infantry were combined to form the 25th Infantry Regiment. As you can see, we honor these units by displaying their flags on the flagpoles behind me. These units were to keep the peace, defend settlers against Native Americans, marauders, escort stagecoaches, and trains. Life in the military had definite attractions for the uneducated blacks, had few options to offer an employer. The military gave blacks a place to prove themselves, and boy did they. Generally, the pay for black and white enlisted soldiers was $13 a month. Housing, food, and medical were free. However, higher authority deemed the black soldiers could not manage his money, and they kept $3 of that as escrow for clothing and other needs. Immediately upon being sent to their assigned areas, the black troops distinguished themselves as aggressive and fierce, tenacious fighting men. It is rumored that after a fierce battle with Cheyenne warriors, that respect of these new black troops with curly, woolly hair reminded the Cheyenne of the buffalo that roamed the plains, and so that when cornered, it would fight with tenacity until death. Thus, the name of the Buffalo Soldiers was created. The units mentioned fought and participated in every campaign after the Civil War. The Indian Wars, the Texas against the Comanches and Kiowa tribes, protecting male and settlers. The San Elizaro Salt Wars. The Buffalo Soldiers were called to disperse armed mobs of Mexican Americans and Texas cowboys over salt deposits near El Paso, Texas. And if you ever heard that the Texas Rangers never lost a battle, that's not true. The city of San Eli surrounded the Texas Rangers and were kicking their butt until elements of the 9th and 10th went out there to save them. You can Google that and find out for yourself. The Battle of Tularosa, the Ghost Dan Sioux Indian Resurrection, the 9th Cav Spanish-American War, and they also patrolled Yosemite National Park against illegal logging, and thus they became the first park rangers. The 9th Cav served in the punitive expedition in the Battle of Columbus, New Mexico during the raid by Pancho Villa. The regiment was deactivated as a segregated unit March 7, 1944. And what that's emblematic of, if you look at the bottom of our vest, you see 66 and 44. 66 is the beginning, 1944, they were deactivated to become, and later on they were brought back in as a segregated units. That also is the same for the 10th Cavalry.
Are connected to the Buffalo Soldier Motorcycle Club, or in reverse, how we are connected to the Buffalo Soldiers. Buffalo Soldier Motorcycle Club was started by a guy by the name of Ken Thomas in Chicago in 1993. They call him Dream Maker. That's his road name, Dream Maker, because he had a dream. He took a small collection of motorcycle riders who love motorcycling and love to give back to the community, and he started a club in the heart of Chicago. Now, that's pretty tough to do because you got a lot of motorcycle clubs, black and white, all kinds, okay? But he stood on his own 2 feet, stood it up, and it grew. It grew wings, okay? It became the largest African-American motorcycle club in the United States, okay? In 2000, well, first it was made up of lawyers. We are made up. Lawyers, doctors, police officers, federal agents, okay? All kinds of professional folks who enjoy riding and who want to give back to the community and who want to teach motorcycle safety, okay? Now, in 2008, here comes the El Paso chapter. It was formed by 5 folks who wanted to bring that motorcycle unity into El Paso. So that started the El Paso chapter of the National Association of Buffalo Soldiers and Troopers Motorcycle Club. So in 2008, these folks, these soldiers, not folks, these soldiers were actually buried out in the cemetery. Okay? This cemetery started in the early 1840s. And guess what? I know all of you have heard of Boot Hill. This cemetery was the Boot Hill for this city, for El Paso. Okay? And it was formed because a law passed prohibiting people from burying their loved ones in the backyard. So this gave them a place to be buried. All right? So in 2009, we used to celebrate Memorial Day, and we would put little crosses out here on the graves of these 42 soldiers. A lot of them had unmarked graves. This lady right here, Beth Jones, she was one of the caretakers in the association. She would walk around with a ledger and point. Okay, put a cross right here. We put a little blue wooden cross on one side, a little American flag on the other side. I was a youngster in this organization, and I told the then vice president, we can do better than this. There's something more to this. These guys gave their lives, okay? They came here in 1877, all right? And they chased the Native Americans. They kept El Paso safe. They kept the mail service safe, telegraph safe, all of that. We can do better. So after I got done preaching, he said, well, you might have a good idea. So he got out, he met with a warrant officer over on Fort Bliss who happened to be an architect. And they sat down at lunch, and this warrant officer started drawing out on a napkin what this is today. With the help of the community, with the help of the members of the National Organization of Buffalo Soldiers and Troopers Motorcycle Club, Concordia Association, and other entities, we got together and built this. In 2011, we dedicated this memorial to the Buffalo Soldiers of yesteryear. Okay? And that concludes our briefing.